here is Elvis.
Hello there. How are you? I hope you can hear me. Coming through loud and clear. What has been happening in the Elvis world this week? Crazy week. That was rather brief, wasn't it? I must lengthen that intro a little bit. Maybe. Hello, everybody. So kind of you to join me live. And if you're watching this on playback, again, it's very, very nice of you to pop in and have a peep and see what's going on. What's that noise? I think my chair is collapsing. Right, yes, what a crazy week we've had in the Elvis world. And as you can see from this week's topic, Graceland sale, is there more to it? ? That's what I will be asking you later on. And I will be asking you to call in and give me your opinion on what you think of the whole crazy thing that happened. Sort of, it all kicked off on Monday of last week, and it was all kind of put to bed again quite quickly by sort of Thursday, Friday. But I know it did scare quite a few people. And as I say, in a few minutes after the quiz and so forth, we'll be diving into that. But as I say, I will be looking for you to ring in. You can ring in on Discord. If you're a member of our Discord channel, you can get in the queue now by clicking on the call in button. And if you're not yet a member of our Discord channel, I would encourage you to join, and there's a link below, and you click on that as an invite and you can join Discord. Or you can ring me on WhatsApp, the number's on the screen there underneath me, and also Instagram Messenger, Facebook Messenger. You can ring me on Facebook Messenger as well. I don't quite know what to say about all this. Yes, as we know, the news broke. And I'm putting it in inverted commas, the news broke of a Graceland sale early this week, and I'm pretty sure now that most of you are sick to death of hearing about it and hearing all the nonsense that went on around it. So I'll just try and sort of summarize this very, very quickly. Elvis's granddaughter, actress Riley Keough, is attempting to halt the proposed sale of Graceland, the late singer's home in Memphis, Tennessee, shouted the media this Tuesday past. Graceland is now at the center of a dispute with a company that says the mansion was used as a collateral for a $3.8 million loan that was taken out by Lisa Marie but never paid back. Riley filed a lawsuit this month stating that last year Norsonay Investments and Private Lending LLC presented documents purporting to show that Lisa had borrowed $3.8 million from Norsonay Investments and gave a deed of trust encumbering Graceland as security. Okay, these documents are fraudulent, Riley's lawsuit said. Lisa never borrowed money from Norsonay Investments and never gave a deed of trust to Norsonay Investments. Okay, fair enough. The lawsuit also says that Norsonay Investments and Private Lending, LLC, appears to be a false entity created for the purpose of defrauding. A hearing was scheduled for Wednesday, May 22nd at 9 a.m. at Chancery Court in Shelby County, Tennessee. At the hearing, the judge halted the estate's foreclosure sale, and just hours later, an attorney for Riley received an email from Gregory Norsonay confirming they do not intend to move forward with their claim. Norsonay reportedly said the company would not proceed as a key document in the case, and the loan apparently taken out by the late Lisa Marie Presley were recorded and obtained in a different state, meaning legal action would have to be filed in more than one state. Okay. It remains unclear the name of the other state. And then, this is strange. There was no harm meant to Miss Keogh, said Norsene. Right, okay. So you do all that, but you mean no harm. Okay. Graceland and Elvis Presley Enterprises said in a statement, Graceland will continue to operate as it has for the past 42 years, ensuring that Elvis fans from around the world can continue to have a best-in-class experience when visiting his iconic home. Now, the first thing, when I read that on, I think it was Tuesday morning, I believe, my initial reaction was to laugh and chuckle to myself about it, because there is no way that Graceland is going to be put up for sale anytime soon. I'm pretty sure that Riley knows how lucrative a business, if you like, is Graceland, the mansion itself. She also knows how much it means to us fans. And even if it was a case where Lisa had borrowed this 3.8 million and she failed to pay it back, 3.8 million is a mere drop in the ocean for the Elvis Presley estate to pay to keep hold of something as lucrative and something as important as Graceland. So if it ever came to it that there was an outstanding bill of 3.8 million, it would be paid pretty quickly by the estate, simply because there's no point in sacrificing $3.8 million for the sake of however much Graceland brings in per year or even per month. So it was an absolute load of nonsense from the beginning, and I knew it was a load of nonsense from the very second I read the article. Unfortunately, it did put quite a lot of people in a state of concern and panic, to say the least. Some people were actually panicking to think that Graceland was going to be sold and we would not have it any longer. And I know, for one, I think Leslie Pilling spent most of the day trying to calm people down on Facebook groups, and in the end she kind of had to give up, because she was saying that people were saying, well, if it's on the news, it must be true. Unfortunately, in this day and age, I mean, it's always been quite bad. The media has always been quite bad with twisting things and turning things and things like that. But it seems to be even worse in this day and age, where people just believe everything that they either read on the internet, or they see in a paper, or they hear on the radio, or they see on the television, and they don't question it. Unfortunately, that's the state of play now. We seem to almost trust the media too much. And as Deb H says, fake news. And that's exactly what it was, because the headline screamed, Graceland to be sold. I mean, it was nowhere near being sold. It couldn't just be sold like that anyway, at the drop of a hat. There would be so much legislation and paperwork to go through that you wouldn't be able to just sell Graceland just like that. But to me, it was obvious almost from the get-go that it was just something that was media fodder and not going to happen. But I would love to hear your take on it. Do you think there is more to this story than meets the eye? Is there something else that we should be considering? I just think that it was too suspicious, too sort of, everything just happened very quickly and then everything just died off quickly. I mean, it blew up on the Tuesday and was gone again by the Friday. So do you think there was something else behind it? And if you do think there was something else behind it, what do you think that other thing was? That's what I would like to know. I've just got my suspicions. I think there's more to run on this, and I think something will come out about it. So yeah, that's the Norseny and private lending accusation that Lisa owed them 3.8 million and she hadn't paid it back. And it does seem now that there was no loan. So, without further ado, stand by Dylan, because I want to bring Dylan in here because I see he's in the queue, and we can put myself in the call and say hi, Dylan.
Hello, young sir. How are you?
Well, sorry to keep you waiting.
That's all right.
What have you got to tell me?
First of all, it's a lot of nonsense.
Yeah,
Like you said.
yeah, we know that.
Absolute lot of nonsense. But my respect for Riley has gone through the roof. And I'll tell you for why.
Go on.
She fought for that house. She didn't have to, but she did.
Mm-hmm.
And that shows how much she cares.
Yes.
Elvis and for her mum.
Yeah. I mean, what you're saying is, I mean, she acted fairly quickly and stamped it out straight away.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's...
I knew she would.
Now, the thing is, right, is...
Yeah.
It strikes me that things like this go on all the time, especially with these huge companies. People approach and say, "Look, you've borrowed money from us and you haven't paid us back. We're gonna take what's owed us now." And you know, I read somewhere during the week that somebody said this happens all the time and it's happened before and it's going to happen again.
Not to Elvis, it won't.
Why not to Elvis?
Because he's got us to stand for.
Yeah, yes, that's a good point. But you see, the thing is like, people see the gold mine and they can't resist trying to sort of pull one over on these companies, such as, what was it called? Promenade, I think, is the name of the business that actually runs the financial side of Graceland, isn't it? It's EPE owns it, but it's Promenade, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost one big stunt, isn't it?
But do you think that there was anything else behind this story? No, it was just cut and dried. It was a company trying to get money out of Graceland that wasn't owed to them ultimately, by the looks of it now. And but I mean, it happened so fast. It came on and it went away so fast, didn't it?
It did, and as Elvis would say, it was a flash in the pan.
Yes, it certainly was. Hi, Cam.
Hiya, Steve.
Hello there.
Good, and you, sir?
How you doing?
No, we can't complain. It's Sunday night. It's our Elvis family night, so things are just going brilliantly.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. So, what would you like to say, sir?
Well, firstly, about the false news. To admit, initially when I read that, I went into a bit of a tailspin myself.
Oh.
But then, as time went on, I kind of sat back and I thought to myself, no, if indeed Lisa had taken out a loan for a minuscule $3.8 million, I'm sure she would have had that kind of cash laying around somewhere. It wouldn't have been necessary for her to loan such a small amount of money and then to put up Graceland as collateral for such a small amount of money.
Yeah, exactly. Because let's face it. I mean, not being funny. I mean, 3.8 million is a lot of money to like some me and you, but to a business and an EPE, like, it's a small amount.
Yeah, they probably make that in a week.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So initially, I was a little bit concerned, but as you said, come Wednesday, come Thursday, when we started seeing, oh no, that it's fake news, the panic initially switched to anger, because I think these media outlets should be sued, firstly because it's false news. It's reporting false news, and secondly, I see it as slander.
Yeah, good point.
But I suppose on the positive side of that, Steve, if you do consider, I mean, how many other artists that you know of that have been gone for 47 years now are still in the news? So
Yeah.
I suppose on the good side of it, Elvis is still in the news 47 years after he left this planet. So I think on that perspective, it's a good thing.
Well, you see, this is my question. Do you think there was more to this Graceland sales story than meets the eye? That's what I'm wondering.
I think they were just going for publicity hits, for clicks. Because let's be honest, if you could write any article, but if you put the name Elvis Presley into your article, millions of people are going to read it.
Yeah, yeah. Ultimately, they probably knew the lawsuit was going to fail. They weren't going to get Graceland Mansion, but they thought, hey, here's an opportunity to make a story out of Elvis Presley, Graceland. Let's scare everybody by thinking that the mansion is going to be lost. So let's go with it.
Yeah, and I think, if we're really honest about it, if let's say for some reason it had been true, I think that as a collective, on social media like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all those kind of things. I mean, all those years ago when the jet was up for auction and up for sale, we created quite a stir, enough so that made the powers that be re-look at the situation and say, no, we need to purchase the plane. The plane needs to stay within the family. The plane needs to stay within EPE. And I feel us as fans brought that change and made that decision at the end of the day. So I think had there been some form of truth to it, I think we would have been able to, as an Elvis family the world over, created enough of a stir for the powers at EPE to say, look, we can't let that happen.
Yeah, but I don't think for a minute that Riley would let Graceland get into any jeopardy, nowhere near, because she knows that it's the jewel in the crown.
Yes, but I think even away from the financial perspective of it, Steve, the Presley family knows that we as his fans are extremely loyal, and I think for them, the loyalty slightly outweighs the financial end of it. If you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, we all know that EPE is extremely well off financially, but they know at the end of the day, without us as Elvis fans being as loyal as we are and as loyal as we have been, speaking for those that were around before my time, if it hadn't been for our loyalty, EPE wouldn't be where they are today.
Oh yes, that's 100% true. Without us, there would be no Graceland now. It would have been sold. Well, it would have been sold shortly after Elvis's death. If it hadn't been open to the public and we would have, kept visiting, it would have been gone a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that's basically my 10 cents into the cauldron.
Great.
But, let's hope next time Elvis is in the news, it's for something positive.
Yes.
For,
and you know what? I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will be. It'll be the hologram, and it'll be the release of the Elvis on tour footage.
Yeah, I'm itching to see that footage. I think Baz is going to do, if it's anything, if the Elvis movie is anything to go by, I think we're going to be in for one extremely big surprise, and it's going to be one extremely joyous ride. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, can't wait myself. Okay, Cam, nice to hear you. Cheers.
Yeah, my brother. Thanks.
Okay.
Have a good week.
Yeah, same to you. Bye-bye. Right, we move on to our next caller, and we say, Priscilla, stand by. Hi, Priscilla. So, what are you going to say to me?
Sure, Steve, God help us. God help us. You know what? Now, really, I just think I don't even engage with those things. There is absolutely no way in this earthly world that that's possible.
Well,
even if it is, even if it was, just say for argument's sake, it was the case. EPE are rich enough to fight that every step of the way, babe.
Exactly. 3.8 million would have been nothing to them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a drop in the ocean.
Yeah. I mean, did you even think for a moment that it was happening, or was it just one of those stories?
No, I just thought, oh God, there's somebody looking for a bit of limelight.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
Genuinely. At no point did I ever think that was possible. Now, is it a cash cow? Absolutely. Is it possible that they can say what they like? And that's the problem now, right? We have become so reliant on to be spoon-fed every bit of information that we get. that we take whatever we see or hear. Well, some people do in front of them as actuality. And
I know that they see it in the news. And they say, right, if it's written down or it's on the internet or it's on the television, it must be true. That's just amazing. It's amazing to think people think that.
paper never refused ink.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I could have jumped on YouTube on Tuesday and started reporting it as, you know, as fact and all this, and folks, you know, Graceland is up for sale. But I knew there's no point in doing that and adding fuel to the fire. Let's just let this all play out. The only thing that surprised me was it played out so quickly. I mean, it was all done and dusted by Friday morning, wasn't it? I believe.
Well, now, and the other thing is, Steve, yes, and it should be, and those kind of things should be dealt swiftly like that. But unfortunately, with the advent of the wonderful social media, those things spread much quicker. So, you know, 20 years ago, same situation transpires, we wouldn't have heard about it after the fact.
Yeah.
It's because the ability to spread that information. And now you know, social media is as good as the idiots operating it, as far as I'm concerned. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. But like, you know, we have to maintain some level of decorum and some level and rely some way on our own level of intelligence. Just because someone says it.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
had this conversation with my daughter when she was of an age that was becoming, you know, reliant on social media and YouTube and all of those things. And I called her one morning and I said, come here. I want you to make a video of me. And I said, I want you to show this, put it on YouTube. And she's going, what is it? So she starts recording with her phone and I'm going, I just won the lotto. I'm a multi-millionaire. And I did this. And she looked at me, she goes, you can't do that, Mom.
Why can't you do it?
I said, you can. You can actually post that on YouTube.
Yeah.
That don't make it true, though.
Exactly.
Babe.
It doesn't make it true. Yeah.
And so I think the same relies. And I think, you know, people need to not necessarily, I think they need to rely more on their own instincts or their own
Common sense?
That's the word I'm looking for. I was trying to find a nice way to say don't stupid. No, but that isn't what I mean. And I know that it is a sense of panic because for us it's something really, really sacred.
Yeah.
Like I got there once, Steve, and you know, please God, I'll get there again. And how many times through this channel and other conversations I've had with people, even over in Memphis, how many times people have visited Graceland and they keep going back and it's just as good every time. And actually, when you buy your tickets for Graceland now, they should come with a warning that says this will not be enough. You're going to want to come again. It is a sacred experience, and so the possibility of losing it doesn't fill any of us with any sense of joy. However, just because we hear it, or just because someone says it, it isn't true.
Well, I told you what my initial reaction was, and I laughed and I had a chuckle to myself, and I thought, oh dear, here we go again.
I cannot tell you how many times non-Envis fans who are friends of mine sent me links to various versions of this story all week. And I gave every single one of them the same answer.
Yeah.
Rubbish.
Clickbait.
One word. I sent it back. Rubbish. And that's it. I didn't want to engage with it. I didn't click on the links. I just went rubbish. And do you know what? When I said that to them, I met two of them recently, and they said, "You're right. I don't know how I got it. You were the first person I thought of when I heard of it." And I just went, it's rubbish. And people will do that. And they will continue to do those kind of underhanded, shocking things.
Yeah.
And remember one thing now, whatever EPE is, I think it's very unfair to someone like Riley to be given the responsibility that she has taken on her shoulders so willingly and so capably. But she is still a daughter who's lost her mom.
Yeah, exactly. But Dylan, but mind you, like Dylan said, you know, didn't it show that she's prepared to fight tooth and nail for Graceland?
But then she's her mom's daughter.
Exactly.
Isn't she?
Exactly. Yeah.
I missed Dylan's call because just as it was starting, you know, my dad arrived, so I ended up having to interact with him for a bit, so I missed some of the calls. So I'm sorry if I've repeated anything anybody said. Sorry if I've offended anybody.
Yeah.
You know me now.
Well, actually, I'm just going to say that Joe Hanley says, Steve, it's not clickbait. It was a true fraudulent trial to get 3.8 million. But what I mean is the way it was all structured out. It was clickbait. You know, it was worded in a way that, you know, this is happening. Graceland is going to be sold on Thursday, and that's it. You know, so it was.
Cam made a very valid point. We, as Elvis fans, are loyal to the core. And the proof of that is that these media outlets know that if there is something relating to Elvis and they report on it, that it will gain traction. Online, in print, social media. It will gain traction because we are loyal and we do fight and we do want to uphold his legacy, and we want things to remain in the right hands and under the right leadership, and that's why any of these stories, anything relating to Elvis, will gain those outlets the traction that they, and it is newsworthy. I mean, the reality is, imagine after that man's passing.
Yeah, but you know, I've got to.
Half century later, it's still something like that can be headline news across multiple media outlets.
I think that if it had been not such a slow news week, it wouldn't have got half as much traction as it got. It was a slow news week last week, so that's why it made it further up the rankings, I believe. So anyway,
I don't know how in any context, in any state of affairs, can what's happening in the world mean that you can still have a slow news week?
Yeah.
There are people dying in their thousands and hundreds of thousands.
Yes.
Because of greed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why can we not report on those things? And
well, I mean, we know all that's going on, but of course that's out of the scope of this channel anyway. But Priscilla,
well, no, but I'm just saying that if slow news week, Steve, there's plenty of news.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Priscilla, it's
this week, Steve. Did I miss that?
Oh no, I'm gonna do that after the calls actually.
Okay.
So it's always a pleasure to speak to you. It really is.
Thanks, Steve.
Cheers.
Take care. Have
Bye.
a good week, babe.
Bye.
Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Sorry, I've got your problems now. I'm unmuting myself and muting myself, and it's just a nightmare.
Oh God. Can you hear me right now?
Oh, perfect. It's loud and clear.
Oh, this is great. Great topic. By the way, did you hear about the new project at Graceland? Zippin' Pippin 2.0 is going to be built there, and there's going to be a part of the coaster trek that's going to zoom right through the kitchen, and it's going to be awesome, Steve.
I can't wait.
I am telling you, it's going to be phenomenal. That's an example of how quick it takes to start BS online.
Yeah.
And there are some people that would take that and run with it, even if you say the words "I'm joking" after it.
I know. Yeah, they don't hear the "I'm joking." They hear the "zippin' pippin" part.
Which that would really be tacky. I'm sorry, but that really would. But I just had to think of something so outlandish, but yet it doesn't matter how weird or outlandish it is for it to take on wildfire. Because I didn't buy that for 1 minute last week, because like everyone has rightly said, this would be nothing for them to litigate this.
Yeah. And I mean, even if it was true, 3.8 million would quickly be paid anyway.
Oh, yeah. And first of all, even if that were true, that they would just, I mean, heck, it wouldn't even really cost them hardly anything. They probably have insurance for lawsuits, and it would just be a matter of going through the motions.
Yeah.
And the fact that I don't even think she could legally put up something like that for collateral for something that small, that would be like saying, I'm going to put up my mansion in order to finance this television.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And, so I'm glad to hear that you didn't freak either. And I'm glad that Leslie was out there keeping the prairie fires extinguished there
Well,
for a minute.
she was trying to, but apparently she had to give up because people were saying, well, it's in the news, so it must be true. And I'm thinking, are you really saying that?
Well, if it's in the news, then come visit me because I could take you to Kalamazoo where Elvis hung out in the 80s. And it's not too far from me in Michigan. So,
Yeah.
and the thing is, I think maybe it's a layover from kind of that innocence from way back then of where if it's a newspaper, then it has to be from up on high. And what we don't realize is this is fertile ground for all kinds of fakery out there. And I hate to say it, but these are just the baby sparks that will lead to a conflagration because with AI figuring it in, oh man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
You and I, as content creators, we have our work cut out for us for the next few years.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like that Ryan Gosling thing as well. I read the comments underneath that video, and the amount of people that actually thought there is a movie coming out with Ryan Gosling next year is unbelievable. It really is. You know,
when in actuality, he's going to be in the Cousin Billy biopic.
Yeah, I mean, even I mean, you don't have to look far. You just go to the about section in that actual channel, and it tells them it's just for fun and entertainment. That's all it's for.
Didn't this already we saw the early baby signs of this back in the late 70s with Elvis's next jumpsuit is going to be a laser
Oh yeah,
reflective light kind of thing that's not even been invented in these times yet.
yeah.
And but yet that's what he was going to do over at Wembley in 79 had he lived or whatever, you know. That's always been going around, but here's the thing. I think urban myths have always been there, but the thing was with online, that poured gasoline on it.
Yeah, of course it did.
So all these urban myths now have this ability to spread because I can't tell you how many times in the last couple weeks I've seen on my Facebook that picture of Madonna meeting Elvis.
Oh yeah, I know that drives me. I actually featured. I actually featured it a few months ago. You know.
Yeah.
Just,
and you know what? It's like we're trying to put out a fire with a squirt gun.
Yeah. Well, we'll do our best. I mean, if we can sort of, let people know about these things, that's all we can do, And
for all of you out there, if you're a good Elvis content creator like Steve and a few others I know, we really do try our best to check our sources.
Yeah, we do.
Very carefully.
All right.
And you do a great job of it, Steve. And thank you so much.
Thanks, Brent. Always great to speak to you. All right.
You too, sir.
All the best.
Bye.
Bye.
You too. Bye.
Yeah. Goes without saying, Brent is on point every time. And just if you're still unfamiliar with Brent's station, I'm sure you're not, but his channel is Elvis Nation. Check it out. I mean, he's quite correct when he says this is nothing new. I mean, I'm always reminded of the War of the Worlds, the broadcast that Orson Welles did, and they didn't say at the start that it was a reading, a recreation of the H.G. Wells War of the Worlds, and people were starting to panic that we really were being invaded by aliens from outer space, and they had to put out an announcement to say that this is just an enactment; it's not really happening. This is nothing new. People being duped into having to believe things that aren't exactly real. Now, this is this week's smoking hot photo, and I'm looking to see your. Lisa didn't leave Navarone the money. Priscilla put it in the lawsuit settlement to look after. Okay, I won't actually read out the rest of that, Mike, but I actually said a comment in, I think it was the Discord channel earlier on in the week. I never really, I mean, don't get me wrong when I say this about Navarone, but I haven't got anything against him, but I don't actually get the Navarone thing. And what I mean by I don't actually get the Navarone thing is I'm not exactly sure why some parts of the Elvis world make out him to be something which he isn't. And what I mean by that is he's not exactly what I would term in Elvis's world. He's not part of Elvis's world. And I know you're going to say that he's Lisa Marie's half brother, but there is really no Elvis blood in Navarone. I mean, I'm not saying that's his fault or anything, and as I say, I will repeat myself one more time. I have nothing whatsoever against Navarone, but I don't get the I don't get the Navarone thing. I just don't get it. No Presley blood whatsoever. Salam says the same thing. Yeah. I mean, Priscilla, it was a Baloo. And then we had, was it Marco Garibaldi? I think it is Marco Garibaldi was Navarone's father. So I struggle with the Navarone thing. I really do. But I'm not being, I'm not saying that to be hurtful to him. So that I kind of went off track there, didn't I, when I saw Navarone's name on the chat. Now, smoking hot. Here we are. Ladies and gents, feast your eyes on this. What better shot than a 1968 shot? And it's very similar, actually, to my background, isn't it? Yeah. Mrs. EAP says, not a brother, not a Presley. No. Amazing. Oh, my thud, I fainted, Joe. Yeah, Salam says singing his heart out. A great pick. Love the powerful emotion. Yes, he was putting a lot of emotion into his singing for the 68 special, wasn't he? Oh, dear. Thud. Oh, Rosemarie says a lot of us struggle with the Navarone thing too. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't want to overstate it, but I just felt that it was one of those things I had to say, that I do struggle with it, and I just don't get it. So hot, I'm melting. He looks like someone stamped on his toes. Yeah, that's the face I get when I stub my toe on the coffee table. Deb H loves 68 comeback special. Yeah, it's not really a comeback, it's a 68 TV special, but I know what you mean. Yeah, this suit's hot. Yeah, he did say that a couple of times. That's why he didn't repeat those sort of things when he went to Vegas and on tour. Elvis is so handsome. Yeah. Joe says he looked amazing. And that is this week's Smoking Hot. If you want to send in a Smoking Hot photo, please do. Although, as I said, I can harvest quite a lot from the Discord Elvis photo of the day. Yeah. Okay. And that, my Elvis friends, is it for another week. Thank you so much for watching live, or if you're watching on playback, thank you very, very much. And we'll do it all over again next week. As I say, please do leave your comments below. Check out the links I said I'd leave. And it just leaves me one thing to say, and that is, Al, take it away.
Elvis has left the building. Thank you and good night.